I enjoyed that reboot was so much fun. I think that was my favorite day of shooting in my entire career. I just enjoyed it so much. And just being with them and, the people that they were and the people that they are now, it was just delightful. Everyone was lovely to me, absolutely lovely. And, this was from a time when when we were doing the show, a lot of times, they were into their own thing and they were just sort of in their own world and they didn't pay any attention to me any more than I paid any attention to them. But the rapport in the room when we were shooting that scene was just sublime. It was so much fun.
And that was like your favorite day of shooting ever?
Ever.
Wow. Why? Like, what was it about that?
Well, it was a wonderful scene. It was very well written. It was funny. I knew my lines cold. Which I knew I knew I needed to know my lines cold because I would be nervous. We were all sitting around, there wasn't a lot of movement action. Jason was directing. He's a wonderful director. I enjoy working with him. And, in between, we all felt so relaxed with each other. It's like we were old friends. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, but we could all just chill out. Everybody knew everybody very, very well. And it was so nice. It was like a beautiful family reunion,
And that was the first time you kind of reconnected with everyone. Like you just all went your own ways.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this reboot before you got the call? And what does that call look like? And who calls?
Well, I did. I heard something, read something about, they're doing a reboot, and people started asking me, you're going to be in the reboot. And I said, probably not. It's probably about the kids, And then I read the concept, which was actors trying to get a reboot on. And I thought, to be honest, I thought, that doesn't sound that great. But I have to say, I was very impressed with how they did it. They did it with such panache and awareness, this awareness of what happens to celebrities when they grow older, especially women. All of the ways that they undercut ideas about celebrity and played on all of these tropes you're talking about the competition with Brenda, right? With Shannon and all the the stuff that was going on between people on the show. And I thought it was really brilliant and charming and very funny and didn't take itself too seriously. And, also included some of the downside of celebrity, which is, people may be stalking you and wanting to murder you,
Yeah.
I was just really impressed. And gosh, the scene I got to do was, I thought it was easy to memorize because I thought it was just, it fit, it felt true as a therapist. They cast me as a therapist.
Yeah.
And a therapist. So.
That's what's so, they were in on the joke. That's what was so great about it.
Exactly.
Like Shannon, everyone was afraid of Shannon, like in it was brilliant. And you are a therapist.
Yeah. It was brilliant. It was extremely well done. I'm so sorry they didn't get another pickup. But
who calls you though? Like, does that have to go through your agent?
My agent called me. I was in New York at the time, and my agent called me and said, "Hey, they called us. Do you want to? Everybody's playing themselves. Do you want to? You up for the reboot?" I said, "Oh God, yes, yes." And it was. I was in Vancouver for literally 48 hours. I flew in the evening. I did my thing. We worked all the next day. And I flew out the next morning. I got to spend some time with Christine Elise too, who I had known only in passing. It was miraculous to see these young people turn into adults.
Were you shocked that Tori and Jenny were able to get every single person? Because Shannon wasn't doing it.
I know. I don't know how they got her, but, I think that what you were talking about, being identified with the role, I think because it had been so long and because they weren't playing those characters anymore.
Right.
Right? they were playing some kind of morphed version of themselves. I suspect that was more appealing to people than, what is Andrea doing 25 years later? And,
Right.
and, if you're not working, why not? And I think they all got involved in the producing, the production end. They were all listed as producers. So that's an opportunity to engage a little more deeply in the process. And that's always useful.
And I think the psychology behind it, the fact that like people, right, it's a blurred role because people do think that Shannon is Brenda. People do think that Tori
Yes.
is Donna.
It's very
and
blurred.
People, like if you're not in the business, I'm not insulting everyone in the world, but that is truly what they're not, but you don't, a lot of people.
Right. Well, I'm subject to that too. I remember I was sitting in a little cafe and there was a woman at the next table and I'm thinking, gosh, I feel like I know this woman. Do I know her from church? And I'm going through all these possibilities and I finally realized, oh my God, it's an actress. It's an actress I have seen in movies or TV shows. She's been in my living room, so I think I know her. So we are all subject to that kind of confusion.
Has anyone ever like met you or like wrote to you where it is like a Meryl Streep or someone where you're a fan, like a Cher, like someone just huge, or like Bobby De Niro where you're like, you watch 90210, what the hell? No.
No. I guess the closest I got with that was when I was doing Broadway, and Danny Aiello was in the cast, and we all went out for drinks one night, and Bobby Duvall showed up, and that was kind of cool, getting to meet Bobby Duvall.
That is cool.
Yeah.
What was working with Aaron Spelling like?
Well, he wasn't on the set day to day.
Right.
But what impressed me about him was that first audition that I did. He came right up. And, normally you come into these auditions, there's a bunch of guys, mostly guys, although that's changing. There are more and more women in these roles. And, you are the casting director's there and you're reading with the casting director. You say hi and they nod or something, and then you do your reading and then you leave. And there's not much. Aaron Spelling came right up to me. He shook my hand. He said, "Hi, I'm Aaron Spelling. Thank you for coming in." And I thought, never happened before or since that a producer did that. And I said, this is a guy, he used to be an actor, and he remembers what it was like to walk into a room of strangers and have to put out in that sense, right? That impressed me. And he had us to our homes, his home several times, and he was very engaging, an engaging guy.
Did you go to those infamous Christmas parties at Spelling Manor?
Oh, yeah. Yes. They were, it was a lot of fun. We had, I remember exactly what I wore.
You do?
Yes.
Do you think
a lace dress, and I had a red slip made to wear under it?
And that must have been like a who's who of everyone.
Yeah. The other fun thing was getting invited to awards shows and being in the crowd with, people. I remember went to some award show and there was Michael Richards from Seinfeld. And I just said, I just have to tell you, my husband and I love your work on Seinfeld. And he was very nice. And, so, actors are fans too. We're fans of each other in a way.
Yeah. I would think that would be one of the best things about going to an award show.
Yeah.
Do you think Aaron would be proud of Tori? This was her baby, this reboot.
Oh, yes. I think he would
Jenny.
be. I think he'd be very proud of her. He's following in her footsteps. She's not maybe having as much success as he did, but he's a once in a blue moon phenomenon, the number of shows he cranked out.
Yeah.
And she's the mother of 5.